Greetings and welcome to another excellent World of Tanks video. Now, I'm going to give you a slight rant explanation of the stupidity of wargaming because, brother, if you tee it up, you better expect me to knock it out of the park because I'm going to do that. I am not a shill, okay? And the famous shills are shills, okay? That's what they are. And it's really hilarious because I mentioned in one of the shills video comments that he was a shill, and he was trying to tell me he's not a shill. And it's like, okay, whatever you say, dude. It doesn't matter. I just let him, go wacko on his own. He's a complete shill. But those guys kiss their butt. For whatever reason, it is up to them. I don't care. It doesn't matter. I don't kiss butt. I get nothing from them, and I'm completely free, and I'm able to hammer the idiot as he needs to be hammered. And to me, the best example to hammer them is on the 38H. What a bunch of morons. So what do? The 38H, if you don't know, Tier 2 commander builder, really. Slower than dirt, 25 kilometers per hour on flat ground. Up the hill, anywhere from 8 to 10 or 11, depending on the grade of the hill you're going up. Tremendous for building commanders, and it's also a tremendous trainer for yourself, because its lack of speed forces you to pre-plan your route up here so that it's like, well, I need to go over here and do this, because it might take you, on some maps, literally, I am not joking, 2 minutes to get where you need to go to help your team. All right? So that's one of those things that it's really helpful. But what they did was they turned it from a Tier 2 machine into a Tier 3. They added hit points, which is okay, and they reduced the reload time. So used to be the best reload it would have would be 2 seconds flat, 2.00. Now it's 1.66. That's an improvement. But everything else is the same. You don't get any more ammo. So you still have 100 rounds of ammo. I only use premium. And if I didn't only use premium before, I would only use premium now because you're fighting more tougher guys. Completely ridiculous in every regard. Now, can you manage this ridiculousness to a degree? The answer is yes, but it's not a gimme. Most of the, you're going to still face, okay, in the old days, you would have pure Tier 2 matches, usually 7 apiece. Every once in a while, you get a 15 player each pure Tier 2. You'd have mixtures, 2s and 3s, okay, decent. And then you'd have heavy mixtures, a lot more, 7, 8 or more Tier 3s in a Tier 2 match. And still, the 38H, if you had the skill, if you developed your skills, not your commander skills, but your own personal brain skill, you could profit in those matches, and I have done so many times, okay? It's not every time, but, the opportunity is there. My top scoring kill game in a 38H is in a Tier 3 match, obviously. I killed 12 guys in that match. Okay? Most guys I killed in a 38H and lost was a game where I killed 10 on Ghost Town. Man, they just beat the crud out of me at the very end. I got killed because I just didn't have enough hit points left. So, that was a mixture of 2 and 3. But now, when you go up to 3s, you lose the pure Tier 2 matches. You're still going to keep the mixtures of 2s and 3s. But you're also going to come into 2 new mixtures. That's going to be the light 4 or less tier 4s, I guess, and then a heavy more than 4. All right, tier 4s, and the problem is that a lot of the tier 4s are just butcheringly better than a 38H. It's really a tier 2 with a faster gun reload. It didn't get any extra armor, so you can survive in those matches and help your team by actively avoiding the 4s if you can. All right, but it cuts into your ability to build commanders. That's really what they're doing. The modus operandi, or the MO of wargaming, is boiled down to this simple phrase. They're there to abuse the customer. They want to take success out of the hand of the customer. And they want to offer you mediocre success, quote unquote, that you pay for. In the 38H, for example, let's go look at this. Now, the standard for me is to run a ×4 commander booster. And in the old days of pure tier 2s, I'm expecting 25, really 25,000 plus or minus 5,000 commander points. Now, you get if you have a fantastic game where you just really kill 10 guys, what have you, 50 grand is in the cards, potentially. But due to the jacking up of the levels you're going to face, the tier 4s, you're going to get reamed on commander boosters, and that's the point. The point of, gee, Duke, why did they change the 38H? To screw you on your commander building in the 38H. That is why. Doesn't get any more complicated than that. This is how they behave, and I'm going to show you the numbers to back this up. Now, I was talking to Brownie, and we had a side discussion about this, and I said, I don't know the specifics of every one, but every update, big change updates they've ever had, to my knowledge, I've seen a net reduction either immediately or afterwards of players. And since Tuesday, I pointed out the players on the server. I'm going to point it out again today so you can get a comparison. Now, Tuesday, I showed you in the video just under 5,000 on the US server, just under 15,000 on the European server. So we're calling it 20,000 worldwide on the day one of the new season, Tuesday. Today, let's go take a look. Whoops, wrong one, garage. Oh, I don't have to do anything. I just got to go down here. Okay, now let's zoom in. Yes, it's 3,000 something and 12,000 something. Okay, those numbers right here. On the left, you'll see the world map. This is a USA server under 3,000 and change. This is 12,000 and change. Let's round it up to make it 4,000 and 13,000. So you have 17,000. A little bit less than that, but whatever. Now, this is just 2 days later, and I'm not saying it's the most fair comparison, but it's honest. Tuesday, 20,000. Today, 17,000. And I'm being kind in both regards. The numbers are actually less than what I'm telling you, but let's round it up in their favor just so that people won't say, whoa, you're just being a jerk. I'm not being a jerk. I'm telling the truth. So from Tuesday to Thursday, we're looking at a differential in the same time period of the day of 3,000 players. I'm not saying that that's completely indicative of a depressed amount of players. Just it's a trend. In 2 days, we've seen a drop from 20,000 to 17,000. And, if it goes up tomorrow, I'm not here. I'm giving you unbiased stats. And if you choose to read them one way or the other, that's your business. Whatever. I just tell the truth. See, that's how news is supposed to work. They're just supposed to tell you what actually happened. and not cherry pick it and shade it one way or the other. But they're criminal liars and they can't do that. I can do that because I'm honest. I'm an honest guy. It's just simple. I tell you the numbers. If you like them, great. If you don't like them, we'll wait and try a different day and maybe the numbers will be better. I don't care. I want to have fair matches and a good game. And a game that doesn't cheat the players. That's all I want. It's not complicated. I'm not a shill. I don't get paid to lie to you. Okay? It's just that simple. Not complicated at all. If you like it, fine. If you don't like it, that's fine too. There's the door. Hasta la vista. Okay? I don't really care. But they screwed stuff up. They always screw stuff up. They can't help themselves. In fact, let me show you an example that they screwed up. Here's a recording I made of the morning update on Thursday. I don't know what they fixed specifically. I haven't figured it out yet. But the point is, they screwed up royally. The point of that update recording was that they screwed up something royally that they fixed. They do it all the time, okay? Now, it's not like it's an accident that they are fixing, like, oops, so sorry, we made a mistake and we're fixing this, blah, blah, blah. They're not transparent, which is another word for honest, where you have an update and it's like, here's a message that says, oh, we made a mistake, X, Y, and Z, here's an update. They don't behave in that way. They behave as an authoritarian government that everything they do is the best of the best, okay? They don't admit mistakes. They make mistakes on a daily basis. In fact, every game is a mistake. That's another story. But the point is, their mode is to screw the player. You've just been warned. Now, don't take my word for it. Just look in your own games. Whenever you see bouncing shots, improper and unfair damage, that's either in your favor or in the opponent's favor. Either way, there's a cheat going on. Either you're being cheated or your opponent is being cheated. I don't like being cheated, and I don't need them to cheat my opponent. It's just that simple. Okay? I want to play my game, and sometimes it happens where you play against a guy head to head, you kill him, he kills you, and you're like, well, that was fair. It does happen, okay? But it also happens where it was unfair. You're driving along, you get hit by something. Boom, something is knocked out. Okay, and you fix it. And then you're hit again. Boom, the exact same thing was knocked out. You were just cheated. You may not even realize that. You might have thought, boy, I was just unlucky twice. No, they cheated you. The same thing twice in a row. Please don't insult my intelligence. And yes, it can happen 3 and 4 times. I'm just throwing that out there. So these are things, once you see it, once you see the imbalance and the improper imbalance, you're going to realize, oh my God, they've been cheating me, because they have. Either you know that already, which is fine, or you have yet to learn that, and it's my sad duty to have to inform you that they cheat you. Every game, really, if you're looking for it. But, another thing that they do, they change maps without telling you. They shove you in garbage matches that are just completely unfair. That's another story. You figure it out for yourself, okay? I've just told you what to look out for. You look, anytime you see it, you're going to go, he told me. There's nothing wrong with saying, I don't want to believe you. There's nothing wrong with that, because you were like, they're not cheating. Yes, they are. You will see it eventually, and it's fine. So just wanted to be the guy to tell you, be on the lookout. The 38H is in itself an example of them cheating you. So if you play 38H and you're not happy with the way the games go, like Zero Goldfish sent me a message about it. I said, I'll get on this and see what I see, because I played several matches last night and I saw all of those scenarios that I told you. And as a result, I only played 5 matches, but my net winning was technically less than my standard average. First game, I was the best player in the game. My team was garbage, so we lost, but I had like almost 1,500 damage. So I won on the commander building, but lost the game. But when I say I lost, my winning percentage was only 60%, 3 out of 5. It's less than my normal. My normal is over 70% in a 38H. Now, I didn't play enough games to generate maybe a 70% plus win rate. I just played 5. It was close enough. Call it what it is. All right. Lost the first 2, won the second 2, won the third one. I mean the 5th one. But I checked after the first 2 and the second 2, and I was like, wow, I played 4 matches, 50%. That's terrible. I won the last match, but it was inferior and substandard because they like to cheat you. That's just the way it is. And if you didn't know that, you know it now. Or you've been primed to learn it on the next. It doesn't matter. If you play today, you will see the cheating. You're on the lookout for it. You can't miss it. It doesn't matter. So, go to town, have fun, and do whatever you do. If you want to leave a comment, please comment. I don't care if you like it, what I say or don't like. It doesn't matter to me. I speak the truth, and the only people who don't like the truth might blame the guy who tells you the truth, but I'm not the one to blame. I'm not the one who's cheating you. Wargaming, they're the cheaters. They cheat players. Because now, one of the cheats they have done here on the 38H is now all of my commander boosters are essentially worth less than before because I'm going to score less in general when I'm doing 38H matches. And that is the key takeaway. So I've heard that on PC you can choose to use a booster on a game after it happened. Here you don't have that choice. You have to gamble up front. Well, I want to go and play a ×4 booster on this 38H. You play it, and then you get 5,000 because you were cheated in a garbage tier 4 match. Happened to me last night. Or you have another one where I got 30 grand, or maybe just under 30 grand. Which was a good game. So I had one slightly above average game and then one garbage game because they shoved me in tier 4s. They cheated me. There's just no way. There's no two ways about it. They literally cheated me out of the use of my ×4 booster. If they'd have said, you're going to go into a tier 4 match, would you like to use that booster? I would say, no thanks. I'll save it for another one. So this is the thing. There's all kinds of tiny cheats, big cheats, and monster cheats. Okay? And that's the way it is. So you learned something today about how they like to screw you. That's, in fact, their only method of existence. Which is why you face, in the beginning, tier 3s faced tier 5s in year 1. As ridiculous as that seemed, it was like, even they were like, this is too ridiculous. Okay, and you still have tier 8s facing tier 10s. It's ridiculous. You don't have an option to choose to do that or not do it, except by not playing a tier 8. That's a cheat. If you haven't figured that out yet, and if you want to come back and tell me that you're in a tier 8 playing against tier 10s is not a cheat, then you, sir, are a victim of propaganda. I'm not, and I can see it for what it is. So, again, agree or disagree, it doesn't matter to me. I speak the truth all the time. That's why I sleep great, because I don't have to worry. Well, gee, I lied about that one. I hope no one sees it. That's not what happens. I just tell you the way it is. And I make people mad all the time because someone who eats propaganda gets mad if you tell them the truth that counters their propaganda. A guy who, doesn't fall for propaganda is like, man, I didn't know they cheated me. He's not going to be mad at me. He's going to go, oh man, they've been cheating me. He's mad at wargaming. That's why the numbers are down. Hope you enjoyed it. Look forward to seeing you guys later. And I have some other videos upcoming. Especially I have a video that shows them cheating. Once you see it, you can never unsee it. So look forward to seeing you then. And as always, please remember to like and subscribe.